Bahr has produced some absolutely incredible work, especially with his Tiny series and also with Osprey, with that absolutely brilliant Templars game. Crescendo of Violence is his new work. This is a Neon-Noir role-playing game, a cyberpunk dystopia where players, as usually in cyberpunk, are gonna struggle to survive. But has it been actually worth reading this book? Welcome to the GMS Magazine RPG review videos. Osprey Game is producing some absolutely fantastic role-playing games in a very small format like this one, which is a sort of H5 size in hardbacks, full color, beautifully produced, and so far I don't think they have produced anything that's really bad at all. In fact, if you take a look at any of the videos that I've done with some of their bookings, wow, they are doing some really great things. Crescendo of Violence is no exception. Of course, Crescendo of Violence is depending an awful lot of Alan Bahr, and Alan is one of those people who, again, doesn't seem to be putting one foot forward the wrong way around. But let's go into the book a little bit and let me give you my review. Okay, the book, as you can see, is kind of an A5, it's a little bit bigger than that. It's a hardcover, full color book, and it is absolutely gorgeous both outside and inside. There is one thing about the art direction of this book, and is that it is very, very daring. You know, this color palette, this style, really shouldn't work, and yet it does. It consistently delivers some illustrations that are bold, daring, colorful, very, very atmospheric, that really help us put ourselves in the right atmosphere. And yet, damn, that color palette is weird, and yet it's very consistent throughout the whole book. All the illustration style is distinctive, definitely unmistakable, and that is the very handiwork indeed of Andrew Thompson, who's done, I have to say, an absolutely fantastic work with it. The book is just over 143 pages, including the character sheet, and it contains a number of chapters where you can see absolutely everything you need in order to play this game, except an adventure, which is probably the only downside of this book. I am a big, massive proponent that a role-playing game has to contain everything you need in order to play the game, including an adventure. That is not the case here, so boo. Okay, it's not that big a boo, because let's delve into this. The chapters are anything from interaction, the world around you, playing the game, the story structure, the job of the game master, the character creation, the equipment and gear, hacking on the vignette, and the non-player characters, and lastly, the character sheet. Now, this game does very well is, since it doesn't come with an adventure, it does give you a very good idea as to how to create one. So, the effort is going to be on your shoulders, but it tries to ease it out as much as possible. What is Neon-Noir? Well, okay, think Blade Runner with even more neon and a lot more jazz music. In this world, well, okay, this is Blade Runner. That's it. I'm not the current role-playing game, and definitely not the current universe either, but it is Blade Runner. Big, huge megalopolis controlled by corporations? Checked. Bad weather with barely any sunlight and constant rain? Check. Droids? Check. Cyborgs? Check. Flying cars? Check. Corrupt police? Check. A little bit of space exploration? Check. If Shadowrun and Blade Runner had a baby, it's this. So if you like that kind of world, this game is for you. You can read it in just a couple of afternoons. It didn't take me that long, and I am a very slow reader. It didn't take me that long to read, and it has been crafted out very, very nicely. So all the details that you need in order to work and live and play in that world is there. To that we add also the very clever addition of an artificial intelligence. There's something called logos that controls pretty much the world economy. Now, this is an artificial intelligence that, given its power, could easily take over the world. But you know what? They're not interested in the world. They're interested in controlling the economics. That's what it was created to do. That is all it wants to do, and that is all it does. So interesting is that it's also the AI that could end all the world problems, and yet it does not. This is a world with contactless energy. So yeah, if you have any kind of electronic device, no need to plug it anywhere. It's going to be constantly charged, constantly everywhere you go without touching anything, because you are going to be surrounded by this technology that charges things wirelessly and wherever you are. Sounds good, isn't it? Doesn't it? Well, yeah, except now there are some events that take place, and I am not going to spoil, that have made the rich richer and the poor poorer. Rings a bell? I thought so. And now you're going to be one of those characters trying to make it up all the way up there to these floating cities and floating buildings where the super rich works, plays, lives, and enjoys never-ending happiness. Getting there, though, might be a little bit tricky, because Neon-Noir, which is the 28 million people city where this game takes place, ain't for the heart, for the heart. Well, it is for the heartless. It's not for the faint of heart. Let's put it that way. That is the word I was looking for. Sorry, sometimes, English and I don't get along very well. The mechanics are actually very simple, and let me show you, because they are in page 56. You have plenty of tests in the book, but the basic test, it's made with D10s. You're going to assemble your pool of D10s. The GM is going to create a difficulty level for your roll, and you're going to roll all your dice. If one of those dice hit the difficulty level that the game master has produced, that's it. So if a task has a difficulty of 7, like, jumping from one building to another or something similar, and you roll 3 d10s and one of them rolls a 1, a 5, and a 7, you roll the 7, that's it. Success. Simple as that. Yes? Then we have opposed texts, bonuses and penalties, consequences of failure, aid and supporting tests, and actions. The game is aided as well by some techniques called spotlight and action tokens. These are going to be the 2 little techniques that will help the GM decide who's going to be the protagonist of what, and who's going to take the spotlight, and who's going to get the actions or the tokens that will allow some actions to be automatically granted. That sort of thing. All of this is done in just a few pages. Literally, it begins on page 55, and by page 67, we know everything we need to know in order to play the game. That's it. Those are the rules. Yes, then we get the downtown actions, and then we get all different actions that we can do, but that is pretty much it. Advancement and experience takes next to no time and space. It is very, very easy. Then the story structure, it also supports, the intro and then the 3 acts and an outro that you can add or you can take away from as you wish. But it expresses it very nicely. Just very well explained. So again, even though the game doesn't come with an adventure, which I think it should, tries to ease out the pain of creating your own, and some way it tries to encourage you to do it and create your own adventures. Yay for that. Should have an adventure. Okay, character creation. Let's go into this. Otherwise I'm going to be here forever and ever and ever. Is super duper simple. Just answer a few questions like where are you from, what's your outlook, blah 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 blah, and then choose your profession, choose a third talent, introduce your characters, and that is it. Done. It doesn't really require a lot. Origins, you get your natural, so you're just a normal standard human being. You can be a vat-grown, a clone, a cyborg, or a Gen G, and then you choose your professions. A Gen G is basically people who have been genetically correct. You are super pumped, genetically speaking. Now, see here that you have cyborg. Yes, you can have implants. No, it doesn't go against your humanity or anything at all like that. You just have implants. Sorted. The only thing about these implants is that they cannot be mixed with genetic modifications or alterations. Well, because these cyborg, they are actually created for the human genome, and when you change that genome, it is very difficult to attune it again to having machines. So that is it. You can either be a cyborg or you can be a Gen G. Nothing wrong with that at all. Plenty of professions: criminal, hacker, hollow star. Yes, you can be a singer here. And it's important, and it's a very good profession to have, believe it or not. You can be a musician, investigator, suit veteran. You can get your talents. You can invent your own professions if you wish. And once you have all of this, you choose your equipment and your gear, which has been described just enough. It doesn't go into, super huge amount of detail, just the bare minimum. And then hacking the wetnet. Yes, you can be a hacker, but in this case, it's not really gonna go into so much depth that you can delve into the net as a character and then leave all your friends behind for a couple of hours while you sort out this hacking thing, which is very long and indeed irritating. That doesn't happen here. So, do I like this game? Oh, yeah. Yes, this is a very good game with a fairly comprehensive system that gives you everything you need in just a few pages, and it gives you a very compelling world that you probably already know there, and where you just have to, get on with it and try to survive. Yes, it also falls into the, oh my god, another cyberpunk world with corporations and blah blah blah. Yep, that is the truth. But the addition of logos makes it very, very interesting, and the addition of jazz, of the neo-jazz as a means of, be able to earn a living inside such a complicated world, it's just that extra level of taste that I really, really like. The book retails at £25 in the UK, 47 Canadian dollars, and 35 US dollars. And I think, considering how much game is there in this little book, it's a very fair price indeed. So, between a 0 and a 10, this game is getting a 7.5 from me. If you want to Blade Runner game and you don't want to buy the Blade Runner game, Crescendo of Violence is your Blade Runner game. Let me know what you think if you've already read this book, because I would love to hear your opinion. And until the next time, I will talk to you very, very soon. Take care. Right, let's get started. Ah, this is exciting. Yes, I know. Sweater. You have any idea how cold it is in here? It is very cold. Very cold. And I know I've had this machine going for about half an hour now, and it still is very cold. So I'm sorry, Mark, but you're going to have to put up with the fact that I need to wear a sweater, otherwise something bad is going to happen to me, and you can put this in the video if you want. In fact, I may give some explanations in the video anyway. This is a Neon-Noir cyberpunk. Cyberpunk, not cyberpunk. That is a completely different thing. Outtake. Well, that wasn't too bad, wasn't it? I did stutter at some point, I understand that.